I never thought I'd spill this, but life has a way of dragging you into the dark corners you swore you'd avoid. I'm Clara, 46, a single mom scraping by in a small Detroit apartment. Raising my son's friend Ethan, now 24, after he lost his family, became my world. We were tight, just us against the grind. But one night something shifted and I crossed a line I can't uncross. Ethan came home looking wrecked, pale, drained from work and college. He said he felt off, so I told him to rest. The apartment was freezing, the old heater barely coughing out warmth. I tucked a thick blanket over him, motherly, or so I thought. But when I slid onto the bed beside him, checking if he was okay, he shifted closer. Maybe he was just chasing warmth, but his arm curled around me, pulling me in like he used to when he was younger, needing comfort. I froze, heart thumping in the quiet. His breath was steady, warm against my neck. It felt strange but calm, like a moment frozen in time. I didn't move, not wanting to disturb him, telling myself this was just me looking out for him. But then he stirred, pressing closer under the blanket, his arm tightening. My pulse quickened, caught between wanting to pull away and staying still. A tension hung in the air, heavy, unnameable. Then something firm pressed against me under the blanket. Shock hit me, my heart racing. I tried to stay calm, reminding myself he was just Ethan, my son's friend, maybe not even aware. But a fire sparked inside me, wrong, undeniable. I lay there fighting the feelings clawing up, telling myself it was just a fleeting, awkward moment. But as the seconds dragged, the warmth between us grew, and I couldn't ignore it. I wanted to crack a joke, break the tension, but my throat locked up, words trapped. I was caught, torn between what I knew was right and this strange pull. Ethan shifted again, his head, lifting, eyes soft, searching mine. His gaze was tender, vulnerable, like he was asking if this was okay without a word. I forced a smile, hoping to ease the strangeness, but it only deepened the silence. His hand rested on my arm, warm, steady, his fingers brushing lightly, almost unaware. Each touch sparked something electric, impossible to ignore. I kept my breathing, even hiding the chaos in my chest. I didn't know what to do, so I stayed lost in this dangerous connection. I told myself it was just comfort, nothing more. But under that blanket my mind spun with thoughts I couldn't shake, wrong, but alive. Ethan's closeness felt deeper beyond what I could explain. I was torn, confused, warm, trapped in a moment I didn't understand. His breathing steadied, eyes half closed like he was drifting off. But then his hand moved, slow, deliberate, finding my arm again. He opened his eyes, locking onto mine, asking a silent question. Was he feeling this pull too? I whispered his name, barely a sound, my voice shaking. I wanted to stop this, to pull back, but my body wouldn't move. The tension was a storm, silent but raging. We didn't speak, but the air was thick with unspoken words, feelings we couldn't voice. Then, like it was the most natural thing, he leaned closer. My heart pounded, but I couldn't pull away. I was torn between my role as his guardian and this raw, confusing desire. His hand grazed my shoulder, hesitant, like he was testing the waters. The world faded, leaving just his warmth, the steady beat of his heart I could almost hear. I closed my eyes, trying to steady myself to break this overwhelming closeness. But then his fingers brushed a strand of hair from my face, a simple gesture that hit me like a spark, twisting my heart. I opened my eyes, finding his gaze tender, trusting, but vulnerable, mirroring my own. We were both caught, suspended in this quiet, like time had stopped. My mind raced with doubts, questions, but my body stayed drawn to him in ways I couldn't justify. He was Ethan, the boy I'd raised, but now he felt like someone else entirely. Then he pulled back, breaking the spell, a shaky laugh escaping as he rubbed his neck. It snapped me back to reality, the weight of how close we'd been crashing in. "Sorry, Clara," he said, voice soft, uncertain. "I didn't mean to make it weird." His cheeks flushed, a sign he was wrestling with the same chaos. I wanted to reassure him, to say it was fine, that nothing had changed. But the words wouldn't come. I was frozen, unsure how to break the silence. Instinctively, I reached out, resting my hand on his shoulder, hoping the gesture would calm him. "It's okay, Ethan," I whispered, a voice steady despite the storm inside. "We've been through a lot together. Things can feel strange sometimes. That's normal." He nodded, a flicker of relief in his eyes, like my words reached him. But just as the tension eased, the doorbell rang, sharp and jarring. It yanked us out of the moment, a reminder of the world outside. I stood, heart still racing, grateful for the interruption. As I moved to the door, my pulse thrummed, the strange energy lingering. It was Jack, our neighbor, standing there with his easy smile. His eyes lingered on me, searching like he sensed something off. "Hey, Clara, just checking in. Weather's getting cold. Any issues with the heater?" His kindness was a lifeline, pulling me from the chaos. "Thanks, Jack. It's chilly at night." "Could use your help," I said, forcing a smile, hoping he didn't see the tension. Jack stepped inside, his presence steady, but I felt Ethan's eyes on us. From the hallway, his face was unreadable, but something jealousy maybe flickered in his gaze. It caught me off guard, stirring unease. Was he feeling something deeper than I realized? Jack chatted, checking the heater, his voice warm, grounding. But my focus stayed on Ethan, watching us with a quiet intensity that charged the air. The room felt split, like Jack and Ethan were silently vying for my attention. I was torn, wanting Jack to feel welcome, yet needing to ease Ethan's unease. His gaze burned, questioning, making my skin prickle. Jack turned, smiling. "Looks good, Clara. Call if you need me." I thanked him, closing the door, the click loud in the silence. Ethan stood in the hallway, arms crossed, face serious. "You okay?" I asked, voice soft, probing. The space between us crackled, heavy with unspoken things. He shrugged, voice low, almost inaudible. "Yeah, I'm fine. Didn't expect Jack to show up." His words hid something deeper, unreadable. I wanted to press to understand the shift, but he turned, heading to his room without a glance. The soft close of his door felt final, leaving me stunned, overwhelmed by relief and confusion. Something had changed, a truth hanging in the air like a storm waiting to break. I went to my room, sitting on the bed's edge, mind racing. I couldn't ignore it forever. We'd have to face this. A soft knock broke my thoughts, hope flaring. "Come in," I called, voice calmer than I felt. Ethan stood in the doorway, his face a mix of emotions I knew too well. He sat beside me, hands on his thighs, eyes down. The silence was heavy, necessary. "Clara," he started, voice barely a whisper, each word chosen with care. "I don't know what's happening. I'm sorry if I made things weird. His voice trailed off, frustration clear, as he struggled to name his feelings. I placed my hand on his, a gentle reassurance. "It's okay, Ethan," I said, voice steady despite my own uncertainty. "We're just feeling lost right now. Things get complicated sometimes." "That's okay." He nodded, eyes distant, carrying a weight that tugged at my heart. After what felt like forever, he looked up, his gaze raw uncertainty, longing, something deeper I couldn't name. His vulnerability hit me hard, mirroring my own chaos. "I don't want to mess this up," he whispered, like he was scared to admit the truth between us. The urge to pull him close overwhelmed me, to tell him it'd be okay, that we'd figure it out. But I hesitated, unsure if comforting him would help or make things worse. So I stayed still, letting the silence speak. The tension hung, waiting for a break I didn't know how to give. Finally, I took a breath, facing him. Maybe we need to step back, think things through, I said, searching for the right words. It's okay to feel close, but it's okay to need space too. We don't have to figure it all out now. He nodded, my words sinking in. Then, unexpectedly, he leaned in, resting his head on my shoulder. It was like when he was younger, seeking comfort. But now it carried a new weight, a tension we couldn't ignore. I wrapped my arm around him, protective, comforting, knowing the questions between us were far from answered. In that moment, I realized we didn't need all the answers yet. We could take it step by step together. As we sat there holding each other, a quiet peace settled over me, a faint hope that we could navigate this. The closeness was real, undeniable, but so was the unease beneath it. Ethan pulled back, meeting my eyes, his face serious. I don't know what to do with these feelings, he said, voice thick with uncertainty. I don't want to make things harder, but I can't ignore them. His words hung heavy, a question he didn't dare ask fully. Before I could respond, another knock, sharp, deliberate. We both flinched, the sound cutting through. Panic surged as I stood, moving to the door. Jack again, his face shadowed with concern. Sorry to bother you, Clara. You seemed off earlier. Everything okay? I glanced at Ethan, his eyes watching, unreadable but intense. We're fine, Jack. Just a quiet night, I said, voice steady despite the tremor. Jack's gaze lingered, flicking to Ethan, searching, then back to me. All right. I'm next door if you need me. He left, the door clicking shut. I turned to Ethan, his eyes piercing, searching for truth or reassurance. He stepped closer, then stopped, his face torn. Maybe we shouldn't push this, he said, voice soft, shaky. We need time to think. My heart ached, his words hitting hard. You're right, I said, voice rough with everything unsaid. We need space to sort this out. He nodded, and we stood there, caught in a strange mix of closeness and distance. It felt like an end, but also a beginning, something we couldn't yet define. As he walked to his room, I stood frozen, wondering what came next, if we could find a way forward. Thanks for staying with me. If you haven't already, hit subscribe and like. Your support, even a small gesture, keeps these stories alive. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think.